Hi, my name is Myron Vierra. I'm the pastor of Living Hope Community Church here in Wenatchee, Washington. I want to share with you what the Word Retreat has done for me personally in my life, in our church, and really to the whole community. I don't know if I have time to do that, but let me try. In 2008, I was part of a church launch that I had been mentoring a young man named Travis Reed, and he launched a church in Juneau, Alaska. And after 1 year, he invited me to come back and to be like the main speaker on Sunday morning and to celebrate with them and just to be part of all this enthusiasm that was going on in that church. It was really growing. There was a lot of just God moving in people's lives, and there was so much excitement. So I went up and I was ready to preach. But on that Thursday night when I arrived, Travis asked me if I would go to a men's retreat. Well, I've been to men's retreats. Usually one person speaks and it's kind of boring, and just a bunch of guys hanging together, which is cool, and I like that. But there's a lot of weird noises at night, and weird sounds all over the place. And I'd done a men's retreat, and I didn't really want to do one again. And then Travis just kept hammering me and saying, "No, you got to go to this." So I did. It was a Friday night, 24 hours, so it wasn't really a full-blown retreat. Went to it, and it was a testimony retreat of the Word Retreat Ministry, where you have a testimony retreat that takes place, and these guys are leaders. They're part of a team. They come together, they share their stories for 24 hours of what God has done in their life. There was about 35 of them, and one after another told about what Jesus did in their hearts. And what I saw in these men was this closeness, this brotherhood that really cared for each other as they shared each other's story in confidence and with love and grace in how they responded to all that God was doing. And it was just amazing. It was amazing to be part of that. And I remember saying to Ray Vidic, the man that was the director and the individual that kind of put this whole ministry together, I need to do this in my church in Wenatchee, Washington. If there's any way you've got something written down, if I can you give it to me, I'll take it and do it. He goes, "Well, why don't you come back for a word retreat? And we have one in April. Come back, bring some of your men, and then if you really like it, we'll help you out to get one started, because it isn't really our ministry. We have something that we just want to share with other people. It's kind of a shared ministry." I said, "Great." Went back home, got some guys together, about 3 of us, 4 total, including myself, went back, saw the retreat, were blown away by what God was doing through this ministry in men's hearts. We saw a team of men who had been trained to be disciple makers and had shared their story together. They were so close, so tight, that they were an example of the servant heart of God to the retreatants that came. And it impacted the men that came to this retreat to see these guys sharing and supporting and serving attitude that they had. They did things that were just amazing. And they were such an example of Jesus Christ. And then there were 4 testimonies and some things built around that. And at the end of the 2.5 days, our men, as we were flying back, were saying, "We've got to do this. We've got to do this now." So we contacted Ray. Ray started sending what they were doing with a manual that they were just writing it and putting it together, sent it to us in pieces, and we started doing it. We had our testimony retreat. In 2010, we would do the first retreat in our church. And we had our testimony retreat in January. The men came together. I started seeing the same kind of stuff that was happening as men shared their story. Men got the vision to be servants to each other, first and foremost, and lovers of God and disciples of Jesus. And that was translated into this word retreat that we did in 2010 for the first time. And God blessed. And we came out of it and started learning how to disciple men. And it's been amazing, absolutely amazing. We've been doing the Word Retreat Ministry for 7 years now. We've done retreats in China. We've done 7 men's retreats in our church, and starting in 2012, we started doing women's retreats. And what I've seen is that what this ministry is all about is teaching men and women to become disciple makers of Jesus, to help them to learn to follow Christ and learn to develop a close relationship with him and take that and learn to disciple others, to be a disciple maker. And we've seen men do this and women do this and lives be transformed. Every year that we have a word retreat, we see people get saved, get delivered, renewed, Find Christ. I mean, it's just an amazing ministry. And what it's done for me is it's taught me in very powerful ways that if we just do what God tells us to do, to go make disciples, the problems that we normally have in churches, I think just go away because we focus in on learning what it means to follow Jesus and helping others to do the same thing. And that's what this ministry is all about. It's about disciple making as a lifestyle. We, in 2014, another host church came and joined us, the Living Room, and they have done 2 word retreats in 2015. And this year we'll have 3 host churches in our valley, and we're going to be doing a minimum of 5 word retreats and maybe 6 for a teen word retreat, because you do it for men, women, and teenagers, and it is absolutely amazing how it changes lives. It's changed my life as a pastor to just the joy of watching people be discipled. It's changed my life as a pastor because I've seen men become leaders and women become leaders in our church and in our community, and going back into their churches and really sharing the love of Christ and having a servant attitude, because that's what this ministry is all about. And now what we're seeing is we're planning on some men and a pastor coming from Russia, and we're going to be hopefully starting a word ministry in Russia and also in Cuba. God is moving. God has just done such great and mighty things. You know, what you'll find if you're interested in the word retreat ministry and you get involved, it just becomes a lifestyle of discipling and becoming a disciple maker of others for Jesus Christ. God bless.